this is the landing page of Hevo, where you can see I have already created different pipelines from different sources. Right now, I'll be showing you the process of pipeline creation from a bit of different sources. Maybe it could be a database or a SaaS application. So I'll be going through a PostgreSQL and then a Facebook ad source, then Google Analytics source, and I'll show you how easy it is to set up a pipeline in Hevo. So if I click on create pipeline here, you'll get a list of sources where you can search for the source that you are trying to connect. Now, let me just show PostgreSQL first. So I'll search for RDS Postgres. And once I click on it, it will be a simple 4-step process to configure the pipeline. So first is the source configuration, where I can give my pipeline a unique name. And then it will ask for the database credentials. It would be similar for most of the databases. Let me just quickly copy the Postgres credentials that I have for now. Then we have different modes of ingestion for databases. Logical replication is the one that is generally recommended from our end, because that is dependent on the database's capability of capturing all the transaction logs as they happen on the database. And then you have the option to go near real time with the logical replication method as well. Then we have something called table mode, in which we'll be running select queries based on a timestamp or a unique incrementing column that you would be provided during the configuration. Then you have custom SQL, where you can write your own SQL queries to ingest the data out of the source tables. Let me just provide the database name here. Then in terms of connectivity, we do have different options. So in case your database is not publicly available, you can connect via an SSH tunnel. We also offer SSL if you want an additional layer of security over that. And then in terms of other connectivity options, we also offer VPC peering for AWS-based sources, then site-to-site VPN. So you have a lot of options to sort of connect to the source systems. Then there are some advanced options depending on the source type. So first is historical data. So how we categorize data in Hevo is in two parts. First is the historical load, which is all the data that is present in the source at the point of creating the pipeline. And then there is incremental load. So any inserts, updates, deletes that happen on the data after the pipeline is created are considered as incremental events. And the good part is historical load is completely free of cost on Hevo. Then you have the option to include new tables in the pipeline. So let's say your database will grow, you'll have different tables or getting created on the DB over a period of time, and you do not want to manually intervene. You just want to automatically include them in the pipeline as they get created. So you can enable this option. And then you have the option of merge tables specifically for this source, which allows you to merge the data from different tables in a different schema. So let's say you have a table customers, but you have X number of customers and you have created one schema for each customer. So what this option will do is, while replicating the data, you will get a single table in the destination, and that will have all the customer entries from the different schemas. So right now I'll just click test and continue here. Now, the second step would be to select the tables that you want to ingest from the database. So right now I can just select all the tables, or I can select individual tables that I want to replicate and then hit continue. Now, in case you have a primary key on the table, we will automatically detect that for the historical load. In case you does not have that, you have the option of either running full load, or you can provide a configuration based on which you would be doing the historical load. And then the incremental will be on the bin logs or logical replication in this case. So the next step is to configure a destination. If I just go on add destination, we have a lot of warehouses and databases that are commonly used for analytical purposes as the destinations. So I can go ahead and click on Snowflake here, and it will prompt me with a similar configuration page where I would need to put in my Snowflake credentials to be able to connect to my Snowflake warehouse. Right now, I have already created a Snowflake destination, so I can use that existing one. So I'll just search for that and then hit continue. Now, this is the final configuration page where there are some more configurations about the pipeline. So first is if I want to add a prefix to the table names, This is mostly useful when I'm loading the data from different pipelines into the same destination schema, and I want an identifier to be added for the tables, so I can give that. Otherwise, I can leave it blank as well. Next is a very important feature of auto mapping. So as we discussed before, this enabling this will automatically handle all the schema mapping between the source tables and the destination tables. All the destination tables will be created based on the source schema that we detect. And then any future changes that would be happening to the source schema, we would automatically try to accommodate the destination schema according to that. Then you have the ingestion schedule. So this defines how frequently do you want to ingest the data from source. Now, by default, it is 30 minutes. And then you can also define a custom frequency in terms of hours, or if you want to run the pipeline at specific times, you have the option to do that. Now, in case of logical replication, you have the option of streaming as well, where we will ingest the data in near real time from these sources, from the log files that they generate, and you will be getting the data in the destination near real time with a latency of at max 5 minutes. Right now, I'll just leave it default to 30 minutes and hit continue. We can see the pipeline is already created now. It will just take a few seconds before it connects to the source. Okay, it's already connected now, we can see. And then it will just start ingesting the data.